What does the hat say? Well, look at that. Clearly, I have the word. Pretty girls come to Miami. And let me tell you something right now, boys. That is facts. You only drink water? Yeah, I only drink water. I don't drink juices. I don't drink energy drinks. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink protein shakes. I just drink water. I don't smoke. I smoke cigars and some hookah, but I only drink water. I don't. The other day, it kind of hit me. I think I drank an orange juice. Oh, and I don't drink soda. I haven't drank soda in like 10 years. But I drank an orange juice, and as I'm drinking, I'm like, wow, this is so strong. And I had realized I'm like, holy shit, because I haven't drank like a juice in a very long time. Maybe once in a while I drink a little wine or something, but I don't know. I just don't like drinking anything but water. Everything here in the US is very processed, and you got to experience it, you know. LQH only works for crypto. That's not their support. You can go and ask them. Alex, yesterday's class was amazing. Try my best. I try my best. I saw you take shots once on a boat. Bro, this is what I do with a shot. Oh, drink it, pretend like I swallow it, no one's looking, throw it out. I hate drinking. I don't like drinking at all. What time Sunday swings tomorrow? We'll break that down. I mean, for me, it'll probably be like we should keep going with the days. So it's supposed to be 7 a.m. But then if it's 7 a.m. tomorrow, then it should be 7 a.m. again on Monday. So we'll figure it out. All right, cool. Let's get this started. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Saturday, to today's class. Now, before I get started, I have a poll to do real quick. Did you watch yesterday's recording? Yes or no? Did you watch yesterday's recording? Yes or no? Okay. Okay. Interesting. Now, I have a question. Well, before I ask this follow-up question, these are the results. So 79%, no, 76% say they did, 24% say no. So when I start doing this new questions and stuff for like this today, if I start seeing that there's a 24% to 20% of people that don't get it, it's because you simply haven't watched the recording. If you go watch the recording, you're gonna get it. So if you don't get it, it's because you didn't watch the recording up to this point right now. Or maybe you didn't have to and you're advanced and you really understood it, but that was part of your homework to watch the recording. Does it suck even though you already got it? Yes. But you want to know what's going to suck even more? Having to have just a small doubt or concern about something and then you want to ask your question and it not get answered because it has nothing to do with what we're talking about today and then you get mad. So that sucks more. So go watch the recording. And I'm glad that the majority of you guys were able to go back and do it. I hope it helped and took your guys' level of understanding to a greater level than what it already was with the live class. So, with that being said, let me share my screen. If you guys could see my screen, type one. If not, type two. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, we are recording. Awesome. Now, let's start off with the homework, which is go to AUDCAD and find the area of interest on the daily time frame. So let's do it right now together. Is this market bullish or is it bearish? Please fill out the poll. 13% left. You're welcome, Brandon. I just saw your comment. Okay, these are the results. 90% claim that it's bearish, 10% claim that it's bullish. So the 10% that claim that it's bullish and you don't get why it's bearish, go watch the recording. Or you probably fat fingered it and it's okay. So this is currently the lower high, and this is the Zoom code, not this. This is the lower low. So since this is the lower low and this is the lower high, in order for us to find the area of interest, it's going to have to be inside of this zone and inside of this zone. So if we take our box and we go to the left and we start working our way up, dun, 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 we can only start off to this point right here. So let me put this right here. So on the daily time frame, this area right here, we kind of have one spot right here, one touch right here, and we can kind of squeeze these tops right here. All right, cool, fair enough. Got a little zone going on right here for getting this level of resistance, 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 support, nothing through here. And then you have some resistance and support. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 6 kind of with this one if you want to push it down just a little bit. Because again, remember, the tighter the zone, the better. And just to confirm, this zone is an approximate 15 pips, which is fantastic. Cool. This is daily area of interest number 1. So we'll mark this off inside of here, inside of the box. And we're going to do the same thing once again, but with the other box, which is from this lower high and this lower low. Start working our way up, our way up, our way up, our way up. Boom. Kind of hit this level here, which it does have some support, 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 and support. Is it worth doing a whole other ass area of interest box here? And maybe we'll grab this resistance, and this resistance, and then this support, and then this support, and this support? Or do we just flip it around and then we just use this resistance? Or do we just use this level of support and then this resistance? And this is where beginner traders can get confused because they can get overwhelmed by how many different potential areas of interest. And trust me, I feel you. So there's no right or wrong answer. There's going to be many areas of interest at a time, and there's also going to be times where there's only one. So an abundance of areas of interest is not a bad thing, and it's not a good thing. It could be a bad thing if you're a beginner and you're going to let it confuse you, but it can be a good thing if you're an experienced trader and you've seen these patterns happen many times in the past. For me, what I used to like to do, and when I say used to, it's because I don't have to do it anymore, because I'm going to explain why. Well, one, because I'm an experienced trader, and two, I see the patterns. I will put all the zones. So I'll put one, I'll put this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is daily area of interest 2. Let's just put it here. Daily area of interest 2. We'll mark off this one as daily area of interest number 3. And if we keep coming to the upside, we can mark off. We'll use this level here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have 4 tabs right here. We'll make this daily area of interest 4. And if we keep going up, this is daily area of interest number 5. 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 blah. We'll make this daily area of interest number 5. And we'll keep going up until we reach the top. So we'll have this like this. We keep working up, working up, working up, and boom. Wow, what a coincidence. At the lower high, we happen to have 1, 2, 3, and we'll count this fourth one. And this will be daily area of interest 6. So as of right now, these are all different potential areas of interest of where if the market were to reach here or reach here or reach here or here or here or here, we would be interested in selling that market because it has reached the area of interest. There's nothing that we would do in the middle because it's not our area of interest. We only take the trade at our area of interest, either at the bottom of the box or at the top of the box or in the middle of the box, just how it is here, in the middle of the box, in the middle of the box, in the bottom of the box. So it is literally all as long as we are with the box, with the bodies. At no point have we talked about wicks. We'll be interested in entering the trade if the bodies are at that area and rejecting it. Bodies, not wicks. Bodies, not wicks. Notice how, for example, here, I count one structure point for daily area of interest number 4. I count 1 and 2 and 3. I didn't count 1, 2, 3, and 4 because the wicks are not structured. They're just wicks. So I don't count them. I only count the bodies. So we have 6 different potential areas for price to have a pullback into them in order for me to be interested in selling. Cool. Do we leave all of them? Are these the right ones? Are they the wrong ones? Should I have done more? Should I have done less? There is never an exact correct answer. It's more of a question that you have to ask yourself. And it is, should we even have this area of interest on the chart right now? It's obviously a valid one, right? I'm not saying, is this really a valid one? It is clearly a valid one. It's more of a, should we even have this area of interest on the chart right now? No, we're so fucking far from here that by the time we get here, we probably won't even be interested in the trade because there's going to be other markets, blah, 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 blah. So what you want to do as a trader is eliminate as many of these boxes as you can and only leave the key ones. What are the key ones? The key ones have the most touches, have the most rejections, have the strongest price action, have the most respected. You don't want to just be interested in entering a trade at any point that just has 3 touches. 3 touches is the bare minimum. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, I'm back. If you can hear me, type 1. If not, type 2. Just want to make sure. All right, cool. Perfect. So now that we understand that we only want to have the most significant levels of area of interest that we leave in the chart. Maybe there are significant areas of interest, right? Because personally, for me, if I'm going to buy a trade, for example, let's say that we are going to, and again, this is all, there's no right or wrong thing that you can do here. There really isn't. There's really no right or wrong. It's only what you're okay with. And this is why you're going to have to come back to these recordings and write a lot of these notes down, because you're going to ask me a question. And it's like, Alex, what do you think about this area of interest? Or what do you think about this key point? What do you think about it? For me, I'll risk 10% on just a level of resistance with one tap. Why? Because I'm crazy and I don't give a shit. But I know other people out there that they won't even risk 2% on an area of interest that has 5 different structure points as a level of support and resistance. So how I trade is a very different to how a beginner is going to start trading. You are going to have your own risk appetite and your own trade appetite. The good thing is that you're going to be knowing exactly into what type of trade you're going to be taking. And every single trade that you take, you're going to be aware of how strong is it or how weak is it. So what I mean is, let's say that this market's bullish, right? So this is the higher high, this is the higher low right here. This is the higher high, this is the higher low. We're looking for an area of interest, whatever. Let's say this one right here is area of interest 1, because we have 3 taps, 1, 2, 3. And then we have this area here, which let's say it has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we'll keep it going. And for example, this area of interest down here has 1, 2, and 3. All of these 3 areas are key areas of interest. All of them. They're all an area of interest where we're interested in waiting for this pullback to then buy and go to the upside. Now, which one do you think is more likely to be respected? The area that has 3 taps or the area that has 5 taps, like the second one? The area that has 5 taps, obviously it's more prone to being respected because the market has respected this area more. The market, whenever it's here, it has more of a struggle of breaking above or breaking under, depending where the price is. So if we're above, it's going to obviously have more struggle to break under. And that's what we want. We want to enter the trade at that point. So that doesn't mean that this area with a minimum of 3 won't have the effect. Oh, it definitely will. But this one just has more of a probability in terms of it going in the direction or not. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't add areas with 3 or you only look for areas of 5. If you notice what I've done here, I've added everything with a minimum of 3. Now, what I start to do is I start asking myself a question. Okay, if this area has resistance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's pretty damn good if you ask me. Keep it going here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this one has 6, this one has 4, and really close to each other. You know what? I'd rather just go with the one with 6 because it just simply makes more sense. And they're literally 5 pips away. So why would I even waste my time on looking at an area of interest where it could work? But for now, I'm just going to delete it. So it makes my chart look a lot cleaner. I'm not saying that if once price gets here, I won't be interested in trading it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying is I'm going to mainly focus on entering a trade then here. Because if I have all these different areas of interest, every single time the market gets to here, I'm probably just going to be like, I'll wait for it here. Or it gets to here, I'll wait for it here. I'll wait for it here. And then it might not always make it there, and then you miss the trade. So I want you to focus on what makes the most sense at that very moment. Not saying discredit completely this area of interest. I'm just saying don't focus it right now because this area is obviously way more respected than this area. So I'll take off this area of interest. Now we have this one. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Not terrible. Let's see what we have up here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't really like it. It is a little confusing because some of it broke above, some of it broke under. It's not really clear. It is a valid area of interest, but I'd rather not even focus on it. And then we have up here, we have very clear 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of 5. Well, it's pretty valid. And then up here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. But truthfully, this is so far away that there's no reason for me to have it up here because it's just distracting and confusing. And now you only have 3 key areas of interest that you really want to focus on. Now, I'm not saying these other ones aren't valid, but you're just doing a process of elimination. Let's say you go to the gym and you have, where's the gym, right? Why it's in caps, whatever. You go to the gym, you're going to start your process of elimination respectfully. Whatever, you guys can understand what I'm saying. Not saying that these are not great trades that you're just going to start off by. First of all, no guys, right? There's start off by the process of elimination, easy. And then here, I don't know, I don't like pink leggings, boom. Now you have 2 less. I'm going to focus on this. I'm not saying these aren't valid, but if I were to just only focus on one, it'd be that. So it's the same thing here. You're going to mainly want to focus on what is going to be the most respected. The other ones are still valid, but you want to make sure you can have a clear view of the chart. You look at the chart like this, it does not look clear. You look at the chart like this, and it looks very, very clear. It looks very clear where you're waiting for price to come back to. You clearly tell here, or here, or here. Now, you can do a little side note here on the notes on your screen, or you can do notes inside of here. So you can click on this little note bar and you can put when we break area of interest 1, unhide area of interest 2, and check it out. For example, and you just save it here as a note, or you can literally do this same thing, but here on the chart, which is where I like to do it. I usually put notes inside of here, and then I forget that they're in there. I forget that they exist. I literally put them here on the chart. So same thing, but literally right in the middle of the screen. So when price does break the area, you're notified once it gets to that next area of interest. But you want to make sure you can have your chart as clean as possible. So if all this makes sense so far, say yes, or if it doesn't, say no. Oh, this is the best thing I could possibly be seeing. Same thing as you go to the ocean, right? Here goes another analogy. Ocean with waves. By the way, these are the results. 97% understand perfectly, 3% clearly don't, which again, I think it's a fat finger. If they don't, you're gonna have to come back and watch this recording. So once we are here at oceans in the wave, we only ride waves that have minimum of 3 feet. But obviously, if you see in the horizon waves that are 5 feet and 7 feet and 6 feet, you're gonna mainly focus on those because those are the ones where you can get the best surf from and you can get the best score. Doesn't mean you won't trade the ones with 3. Just saying that your entry level and your bare minimum is 3. Perfect analogy, honestly. So this is what I would kind of have my areas of interest set up with AUD CAD. If this is how you had yours set up, say yes. If not, say no. Okay. And you want to know what's crazy? I feel like a fucking wizard right now. No, like I really feel like that guy right now. I feel like I can just cast a spell right now and I can have an alien just pop up. I feel like motherfucking Houdini. I feel imagine. These are the results. Now, what did I say at the beginning of the class? When we would do something and the people wouldn't have the same results or wouldn't make sense, it's because it's going to be that 20% of people that didn't watch the recording. So when we get into something and people don't get it or have the same results, it's going to be those 20 people that did not watch, like that 20% of people that did not watch the recording. So this is one of the first examples of that happening, and it's crazy how I call that. And the accuracy is pretty insane. So I'm glad that the majority do have it like this and that it does make sense. So that being said, let's move on to the next point. Any final questions on area of interest up to this right here? So actually, before I even ask that, something that I did want to mention, right? So let me go back to 0JPY. Okay. Okay. So these are the time frames that we're going to be looking for the trends, right? Now, I'm going to add this right here to area of interest. So to your area of interest, let's make it a, let me add it here as well as here. And it's added with an orange. Oh, you can't really see the orange. Can't even see the green. Okay, green, right? So then the area of interest is going to be green. So these are the time frames that we're going to be using for an area of interest. We're going to be doing areas of interest on the weekly. We're going to be doing areas of interest on the daily. For a swing trade and intraday trade, we are not going to be using the 4-hour. We're only going to be using the 4-hour for an area of interest on a day trade, as well as the daily, as well as the, well, we don't use the weekly for an area of interest, but we technically could. We won't. We can also use an area of interest on the 2-hour and the 1-hour. So these are the time frames that you are going to use an area of interest in when you go to be a swing trade or an intraday trade. So on the weekly and the daily are going to be the only time frames you're going to look for an area of interest. You will not look for an area of interest on the 4-hour. And when you're looking for a day trade or a scalp trade, you're going to only be looking for an area of interest on the daily, on the 4-hour, on the 2-hour, and on the 1-hour. So before I continue with something, let me leave this extremely clear. So there, this is why this is the one that stays the same. These all stay the same. These is basically the only ones that change. I'm going to leave this extremely clear. We will only, and I'm talking about only, start off analyzing every single trade as a swing trade. Always, 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 always. We start off analyzing the trade like this. Then after we analyze it, then we realize, you know what? There's not a swing trade opportunity here. There is a day trade or a scalp trade. And then we start going into the scalp trade. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is you're going to always look to have the requirements in the trend, whatever, when we get into that. First on the swing trade and the intraday trade, and then on the day trade and scalp will come after. Now, it might be a little confusing now, but like everything, and like always, once we get to there, it's going to make extreme amount of sense. But for now, what I want you to focus on is you're only going to have areas of interest for a swing and intraday trade on the weekly and the daily, and you will only have a area of interest on the daily, the 4-hour, the 2-hour, and the 1-hour. If this makes sense, say yes. If it not, say no. 5% left. Okay, these are the results. 97% understand and claim it makes sense. 50% know, which are the fat fingers. All right, cool. So, how far back do you go with these areas of interest? So, this is kind of a tricky one, right? Because every trade is different. And I can't tell you, you could only go back 30 days and 20 hours and 15 minutes and 8 seconds. Because that's kind of a bit unfair, not considering that every trade is different. And you can't go look for an area of interest that is a standard on how far back you can go. Because sometimes markets are way out of where the current market is. And let's say that the minimum time that you can go back, no, the maximum time you can go back is, for example, 2 months, right? So let's say 2 months on the daily. Like we are so high that we've broken out of all of this price action here. And this area is now 4 years ago. You're going to tell me that now you're not going to be able to find an area of interest because it's 4 years old? No, it doesn't qualify because like there it's too harsh of a rule. So I can create a standard procedure on how far you can go back for, and but again, it's going to go back to you asking yourself a logical question. So let's say you do want to place an area of interest which from somewhere over here, right? Let's say you found this to be an area of interest. You have resist, excuse me, support and resistance. Boom, valid area of interest. Let's bring this all the way to over here. I'm sure there's a more convenient way of doing this, but doing it the old school way. And boom. Now you're going to ask yourself, okay, yeah, that is an area of interest and it is 4 years old. And the standard that we go for is, let's say, 6 months. You're going to obviously have this as an area of interest, right? Let's just say, or you'll have this or wherever you have an area of interest. All you have to do is ask yourself, should we enter the trade at the 4 year area of interest or at the 1 week area of interest? Where should current price, because we are trading current price and we will always and only trade current price. We can't trade the past. You're going to only trade current price. Where does it make more sense for this market to have a reaction from? From an area of interest of 4 years ago or an area of interest of current price that it clearly respects and rejects this level? Which one makes the most amount of sense? Speak it, say it. Clearly, the current price. Something that is 4 years old doesn't have any relevance to something that is 1 week old. Let me see what example of it that I can put. Almost like a car. When you pull up to your friends to show off a brand new car, it's far more impressive than a car that's 4 years old, just because it's not relevant with how things are right now. So I personally sometimes do trade old areas of interest, but it's a question that I ask myself. Alex, do you think that this area of interest is going to be respected more than this one? I don't know. Fuck it, we'll take it. That's how I think about it. But I know exactly what I'm doing. And I acknowledge what's going on. And that's the beauty of trading the way that I trade it. You know exactly what's going on. It's not like you're lost. Like you are literally aware of what is happening every single moment that you get onto the charts. You know you're taking a trade on an old area of interest, and you know that that does not tend to respect as much as a current price action. So it's going to be the same thing as different areas of interest. Process of elimination. Yeah. this is an area of interest of 3 touches, and this is an area of interest of 3 touches. Do I want to enter at the area of interest of 4 years old with 3 touches, or do I want to enter at the area of interest of 3 touches with 1 week old? They both have 3 touches. Which one do you think is going to be respected more? The current live price. And that's it. So it's always going to be a case by case thing. And this is the way I want you guys to approach it. I don't want you guys to get FOMO. I don't want you guys to think that the trade's going to run away, because we do all of these analyses on Sunday. Why? Because you cannot take a trade. So you are forced to ask yourself these logical questions, and you take your time, and you not have to be in a rush to make a decision, because even if you wanted to make a decision, you can't, because the market's closed. So you're forced to take your time. So that's what this key component of like how far back and how precise and how this, just ask yourself, is this something that makes sense? Yes or no? Be realistic. And it might take you some time for you to be correct, because you just don't know, or you just haven't seen these recordings enough. And that's perfectly fine. That's something that's going to be part of the 3 things that I asked from you: time, dedication, and patience. So if all of this so far makes sense, type, don't type anything. Let me know in the poll. Love to see it. Love to see it. These are results. 98% understand this. Beautiful. So now that you guys understand that, and you guys wrote your notes down on that, which I hope so. If not, you're going to have to go back and watch this recording, because I'm not going to repeat myself. It's pointless. I'm going to explain the standard timing for each time frame that you should be going back, etc. So let me start off with four years max. This is what's a logical point. Daily time frame. Do like 1 and I'll just say 1 to 2. Not same thing applies here. As your things start getting tricky, I'd say 1, 2, 4 months. All right, so this is kind of what it looks like. On the weekly, you want to have about 4 years that you're able to go back on. On the daily, 1 to 2 years max. On the 4-hour, 1 to 4 months max. On the 2-hour, 1 to 2 months. And on the 1-hour max, 1 month. So that is the max you want to go back on each time frame. For example, right now we are on the daily time frame, right? And it is currently October. No, it is November 16th, 2024. So we have to go 2 years back. So we can go up to November 15th, 2022. Just so you guys see how far that is from right now. This is where we are right now. If we go back 2 years, boom, right here. November 16th, 2022. So it's a lot of fucking price action. It is a lot of time. Markets here were very different. So that is the max you should do on the daily. On the weekly, it's 4 years because you can obviously have a lot more on the weekly. On the 4 hour, want to have max 1 to 4 months because you can go through a lot more price action very frequently. So 4 months would be probably like a very solid amount. I can't even lie. So yeah, it's pretty much it. Obviously, I can go to each time frame and just show you, but this is basically what it consists of. Now, if all of this makes sense, say yes. If not, say no. Yes, if it does, no, if it doesn't. You guys just seeing how things are making sense slowly, right? You guys seeing how things are just like kind of grabbing and putting into place and things are making sense. Everything's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Why didn't I think about it like that? Like, oh, that's so fucking obvious. Like, why didn't I think of that before? Like, how, like, I don't get it. So, yes, that is normal. It's part of the game. Don't worry. That's how it's supposed to be. So 98% claim that they do understand it and that it does make sense, which is phenomenal, amazing, perfecto. Now, any questions about this at this very moment, please ask it now. Do not spam. Do not ask me questions about Sunday swings. Sunday swings, we're going to do it tomorrow at 7 a.m. EST. So don't ask me questions about a trade that I am going to be interested in taking because that's exactly what Sunday Swings is about. Don't ask me about one of your trades because I can't see it and I'm not going to break it down right now. So just ask about area of interest. If you don't have a question, just sit tight. Chat's open. I have a question about the homework. Why did you make two different areas of interest at area of interest 2 and 3? Why don't you merge them? Because it's less than a pip, because it's still less than a 60 pip zone. Great question, Artie. And I knew this question was going to arise. And it's like I was mentioning before, you want to have the most amount of precision. So yes, I could have definitely made this area of interest just one big zone. And now I have to call it 2 and 3 for sure. But it wouldn't have been as precise. But yeah, I could have done this. Again, it all goes down to taste. Like there's never going to be a right or wrong answer. Like, oh, you only have to have this or only this. I personally like to have the areas of interest tighter. The tighter, the better, because that's the more like if I can have an area of interest this tight and there be 10 bodies, structure rejections there, dude, I'm betting my house on it. So like you don't want to not do that because that's where things aren't as respected. So that's why I didn't put the zones together because it would have not been as strong if they were just individual. Hope that answers your question. All right. Turn off the chat for a second, just kind of reading through everything. Quick question about stop loss. Brother, we're not talking about stop loss. So when we start analyzing, we start with swing and intraday first. I think I said that. I don't know. I really don't know if I said that or not. Is it possible for you to direct message? No, it'll be impossible, and then everybody would direct message. Would you merge areas of interest if they're below 60 pips? I think I just answered that, but the answer would be I would rather not. I would never, like 60 is the max. I do that just for beginners and stuff, but the max in area of interest really should be is like 40. And anything below that, it just becomes a lot more respected and the market will tend to have a reaction better. Lewis, yep, that's probably why. My chart looks different than yours. That's why I didn't have the same results because I didn't activate the no gap candlesticks. That lets me know you didn't watch the recording. Is there ever times that there's an exception for an area of interest bigger than 60 pips? Yeah, that probably tends to happen on the weekly time frame, but not much. And again, I probably would still rather have a daily area of interest with 20 pips than a weekly area of interest with 60 pips, because the areas of interest will be a lot more precise on the lower time frame. And to clarify this is the daily area of interest. Let's say we're to be interested in selling this on the weekly, let's say if it was bearish, the weekly would have its own areas of interest. So this would, for example, right, let's just say that this was the lower high and that this was the lower low. Again, just for examples purposes. And you go like this, and again, just for examples purposes, let's say that this had 3 touches right here. So this right here has 1, 2, and let's just say this third touch right here, right? Again, just for examples purposes. And you do your pipping, sizing, whatever, and it's 33 pips. So now you have a weekly area of interest inside of a daily area of interest. What does that lead you to say? Well, this is a fucking golden area. But am I going to leave it as a big zone like that? No, I'm going to go down to the daily and I'm going to see how I can make it make sense. I'm going to see how I can bring the weekly zone down just a little bit and the weekly zone just a little bit. And if I can make it just one area of interest where this turns into the weekly and daily area of interest, this is phenomenal because now you have 2 very strong, respected areas of interest on 2 different time frames that once and if price gets to that area, we're going to have a lot bigger of a probability to then sell. So you do want to end up doing that, how to join areas of interest. And if they are together, they are more powerful. And we're going to be showing you how to do that in the next following topics. For now, just want to get you one thing at a time. This is where we start combining areas of interest from different time frames into a trade. These zones become very powerful because not only is it respected very well on the daily, it would also be very well respected on the weekly, for example. Again, don't use this example because it's just an example. And the weekly is actually bullish, the structure. So I just did it as an example. If we arrive at the area of interest, how do we know it's the right one? You never know it's the right one. You never know if the wave that you're going to get on is going to be the one that's going to take it to shore. You never know. You just know that it's a wave that meets your criteria. You enter it, you ride it, and whatever the outcome is, it is what it is. But you never know. Because if you would know, I'd be a fucking trillionaire. And that we probably wouldn't be having this car right now. So you never know if it's the right area of interest. You just have a lot of probabilities that will add up and make it more logical to enter the trade in one direction versus the other. What if the weekly is bearish and the daily and the 4-hour are bullish? Well, you can only buy if it's bullish and you can only sell if it's bearish. So if the majority of the time frames are bullish, then we buy. And again, I'm going to get into that in just a second. When looking at the area of interest, does it matter if the body candle close at either support or resistance? Raquel, I believe I said that. Please go watch the recording. Bro, if we enter a trade, is it okay to enter with a rejection from the area of interest with wicks? All right, again, we want bodies at the areas of interest. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? Just to confirm, for the last back periods with a range 1 to 2 years max, do you only look back further? Yeah, I don't usually look back further than those times just because the market doesn't respect it as it should. I missed area of interest number 3. Is that bad? I'm just a beginner, just getting started. No, you just said it. You're just a beginner, you're just getting started. Chill. Don't beat yourself up. If you're buying a bullish structure, would an area of interest that has 3 supports be better than an area of interest that has 3 rejections, or it doesn't matter? No, it doesn't matter. It's just a valid area of interest. Turning off the chat, it's going to go through these round of questions. Does trade. Could you give more value to an old area of interest if price had not reached that point in a long time? I already answered this. Which ones are we going to be trading with? Swing or scalp? With both. Can we use the line chart to draw our area of interest so it's easier? No, you want to use the bodies of the candlestick because we're trading bodies. We're not trading lines. This is helpful. I'm glad for your patience. You're welcome. Don't worry about it. How many pips do you set your area of interest? Like I've mentioned, the shorter the better. So taps aren't required if you have 2 wicks. Go watch the recording. I'm just reading through some of these questions. Some of them. All right, perfect. So to me, I get the understanding that everybody understands. Shit. Give me a second, guys. Give me 1 second. Bro, oh my God, dude. Bro, I'm actually fucking pissed off about this, bro. Jesus. Fuck. Fuck, man. I was literally looking at this, bro. Fuck, man. 93%, bro. Bingo. I would have put $1 million on this. I would have made $1 million under a week. Fuck. So many people just became so fucking rich off of this, dude. Jesus. And I missed it again. Bro, I've missed every run. Fuck. My friend just called me. This guy made $5 fucking million, dude. Fuck. Whatever. We'll make it trading. What the hell is that talking about? What the hell is that talking about? I just got so thrown off. I think I was answering questions. Okay, is there any more questions? Bro, if we have an area of interest with three structure points, but whenever we broke above or below majority of the time, it failed, do we respect it or do we eliminate that zone? What do you think, brother? Ask yourself that question. What do you think? XRP is going to 5K? What do you mean? How come you were answering questions when the chat is disabled? Because I'll get 1,000 questions and I'll stop the chat and then I'll start scrolling through them. What do you think? I'm making up my own fucking questions? All right, cool. So I am under the understanding and the perspective that we all understand. Cool. So let's continue. So now we understand that we have a maximum time that we are supposed to look for an area of interest on the daily, an area of interest on the weekly, an area of interest on the 4 hour, 2 hour, and 1 hour. We understand everything regarding this right here. If you guys understand all of this, say yes. If not, say no. Shit. I missed out on crypto again. You know, it's funny. I actually put $100. These are the results, by the way. I'll make a joke about it later. All right, so all right, cool. So we understand all of this. Now, next, let's go into the topics, right? So we understand, well, I feel like we haven't talked about this a lot, and it's a little important. Not really. It's just something more for you to know where the market is, right? Like, I'm sure we all understand that if this market is like this, right, and it's bullish right now, we are one, meaning we're at the higher high. Or if this market were to be like this, we would understand that this market would be at a one. This market's at the lower low. If this were to be the area of interest, right? Let's just do this basic area of interest. If this were to be the area of interest right here, basic area of interest, and the price is like this, what does that mean? It means that we are on the way to the area of interest, on the way. And when it's like this, we're at the area of interest. It's like very basic toddler talk, in my opinion. It's very self-explanatory. You don't need to talk about it for an hour. So this is very key because you want to know where the market is. You want to know if the market is at a high. You can't enter a trade at a high. You have to wait for the discount. When it's on the way, you want to make sure you wait till it gets to the area where you want that discount at. And then when it's at that discount, then you're going to look for the reason to execute into this trade. But before you look to execute this trade, there's actually an added point that we can do to the actual area of interest, which is going to be round psychological level. Now, this is going to be very interesting because it's going to be very hard to find a round psychological level. Very fucking hard. Like damn near impossible. And I want to prep you guys for another 3-hour call. because this is going to be very difficult. And many of you might not be able to do it. I think 99% of you guys may not be able to do it. And I'm warning you. Don't get stressed. I'm going to make this as simple as I can, right? So get ready for 3 hours, okay? Do you believe me? Do you believe what I'm saying? No? It's okay. I figured. Because it's actually extremely fucking easy. A round psychological level works inside of an area of interest. What? What does that mean, Alex? What the fuck are you talking about? What is that? Okay, sure. This is what I'm talking about. If this is the lower high and this is the lower low, this is area of interest 1. This is area of interest 2. And then this is area of interest number 3. Okay, since these are all the area of interest, we find a round psychological level by just getting a horizontal line, throwing it in the middle, literally throw it in the middle, at the top, at the bottom, it doesn't fucking matter. And then you just double click it and you just find the round psychological level. 59500. It's atop the area of interest, not a valid area of interest. 5900, it's too low. There is no round psychological level inside of this area of interest. That's it. That's how it works. Then we have another one right here, area of interest number 3. We go into here and we put a line in the middle. Doesn't matter. Just double click it. You want to make sure that's inside, excuse me, of the box. Oh, wow. What do we have here? 59924. Well, if we add all that up and we round it off to 60, what do we have? Round psychological level 60,000 right at the top of that area of interest. That's it. That's how you find the round psychological level. You first have to find the area of interest and then the round psychological level comes in. So let's pretend like this is area of interest number 4, right? Let's just pretend like this is area of interest number 4, right? Daily area of interest number 4. We will get our line. Don't even have to look. We'll just make sure that we're inside the box. Then we take it off, double click it. Doesn't even matter. What do we have here? Wow, it's a fucking coincidence that I threw it on the round psychological level because I'm that guy. But yeah, we have a round psychological level in here. That's it. In here, okay, we do the line. Okay, what do we have? 585. Enter. It's way too low. It's not inside of the round psychological level. If we add 500 to that, what is that? 59. And if we click OK, where is it? It's way too above. It's not inside of the round psychological level. Daily area of interest 1 and 2 don't have round psychological level. Daily area of interest number 3 and number 4 do have round psychological level. That's it. So when this trade pulls back into here and you go to add your reasons on why you're going to enter the trade, we're going to be like, all right, 1, we're at the daily area of interest, and the daily area of interest also has a round psychological level. You're going to not take a trade because it doesn't have a round psychological level. Having this is just an added confluence. It's really just an add-on. It adds 5% to the grade of the trade, literally 5%. And when we start giving the topics percentages and all that stuff, it's going to make sense. But if we don't have it, it does not matter. It does not affect our trade at all. It's like the EMA. When we have it, it's just a little bit better. It's like when we go out to surf the wave, it has blue waters or crystal clear blue waters instead of a green water. The same shit. It's a fucking wave. You can surf it. Just looks cooler. It's a better story to tell. Just makes it nicer. But it doesn't change the fact if you can ride the wave or not. It doesn't matter. It's just an added reasoning for you to go out there and go surf. You're a surfer. You surf in a green wave. You surf in a white wave. You surf in a sunset wave. You don't care. Having the round psychological level is like having the sunset. It's just an added thing to the view. Surfing itself is already beautiful and perfect. Now, if you have the sunset, just makes it cooler. Having the round psychological level just makes it cooler. Let's say, for example, right here, right? So let's just delete all these lines, for example. In here, let's say this is an area of interest. We get it, drop it in there, and we double click it. What do we have? 1617. Let's put it at 1615. Oof. 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 Right at the bottom of the round cycle, right at the bottom of the area of interest. Now, yes, if it's that fucking close that it's not even a pip, if you measure from here to here, it's like, dude, it's nothing. Yes, dude, you just extend it. That's it. You just make the area of interest a little bit bigger so you get the round psychological level. It's really not that big of a deal. If you have something like, I don't know, let's say like this one, right? Get the line, throw it into here, double click it. 913, 915. Oof, boom, right in the middle. Perfect. Now you don't care if when price goes here and it goes to the area of interest and it goes above the area, above the round psychological level or under it. You don't care. It does not matter if it goes above it or under. It really does not matter. It just matters that it's there. Again, you don't care if the water is green or if it's blue. You're not going to not enter a trade because it's green or it's blue. It just makes it better. If you're going to go surf, you're going to go surf if the water is blue or if the water is green. You were going to go surf it no matter what. It's the same thing here. You're going to take this trade no matter what. Having the round psychological just makes it just a little bit better. That's exactly how you find it. It's actually fun. You know, just do a box in the middle of the chart anywhere. So you want to call this an area of interest, right? You have resistance, support, support. That's 3 points. Boom. Area of interest, line, middle. Double click it. And then what do we have? 95623. Round it to 500. Boom. Round psychological right at the bottom of it. I'm telling you, it's fun. You guys should try it. It's like really fun. All right. Do it again right here. Right here. Boom. Area of interest. Boom. Line in the middle. Oh, boom. Look at that. Fucking 3 in a row. 8,900. Okay. Move this down here. Do this here. Boom. See? 88, 500. Fuck. It's at the top. We missed it. Let's see. 8,800. Boom. We got it right at the fucking bottom of it. When we make it a little bit bigger. Boom. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Valid area of interest with a round psychological level. Guys, see how easy it is? It's very simple. It's not hard. It's not difficult at all. The first step is finding the area of interest. Once you get it and you understand it, then you apply the round psychological level. In here, right? Area of interest. Coming to this level, round psychological, 63, 5, boom. There you go. Perfectly at the top of this area of interest, we have a round psychological level. It's every 500. If you ask a question about that, I'm not going to answer because it's in the previous recordings. Now, if this makes sense, say yes. If not, say no. It's crazy how easy it is, right? Another aha moment, I bet. 8% left. Bro, it's crazy. It's been an hour already. It doesn't even feel like it. These are the results. 97%, 3% say no. So to the 3% that don't understand, please ask your question now. To the 97% that do, please hold your horses. What if all have round psychological level? Cool. It's just an added reason. All right, Liam, I'm gonna look at this, bro. Okay. When you say it makes a trade a little bit better, but won't change whether you take the trade or not, what's the point of having it at all? Do you risk more or less when you have it? No, you don't. It just makes it a little bit better. Doesn't really change anything. Is it normal for a beginner to have hard times placing an area of interest? Yeah, of course. You're just getting started, dude. All right, guys. I'm turning off the chat. Give me a second. Can you explain why you said it's going to be for the next 3 hours? Dude, it's a fucking joke. Respectfully, it was just a joke. I was just trying to hype you guys up, trying to make it seem complicated, but it's not. It's very easy. So we used the new horizontal line. This just answered my question from yesterday. Derek, wow, you're welcome. Again, it's a common thing, bro. This is so clear. Yep. Does this work on the 4 hour, the 2 hour? Truthfully, it works anywhere. Once you have an area, once you have an area of interest, around psychological level, you can put it in anywhere. Again, it doesn't matter if you're surfing a big wave or you're surfing a small wave. If the water is green or blue, not going to change anything. Just makes it a little bit better. Big or small wave doesn't matter. How does it add value to the trade? When we get to that point of building out the trade, I'll explain. When we're talking about entry point, brother, we are not there yet. We're barely done with just area of interest, dude. Do you look at 163,300 as a round level? No, it's every 500. Why does it make it better? Ah, dude, I don't know. I don't know. Why are you asking a question that I don't like? Never. Can you do it on AUD CAD? Sure. This is obviously a very common thing. So AUD CAD, very simple, right? This is an area of interest. Drop the line inside of the box. Double click it. What do we have? 19100. Boom. At the bottom of the area of interest. That's technically one level. It is a little, close. Maybe if, whatever, we'll move it. Boom. There you go. Now we have a round psychological level. We'll do it here. What do we have? 91,500. Click on it. Okay. Right at the top of the area of interest. And then over here, we have round psychological level 92,000. So every single one of these areas of interest so far had a round psychological level. That's it. Where the real value is finding the correct area of interest. So if all this makes sense to that 3% that said no, please type yes now. Or if not, watch the recording. It's very easy. Now, if you want to ask me why does round psychological exist? I don't have that answer for you. Sorry. All right, these are the results. 99% say yes. So very easy. Cool. Let's make it back over here. All right, cool. So we talked about where is it right here? So we talked about how an area of interest works. We talked about what is a valid area of interest and what is just resistance and what is support. And now we talked about how a round psychological level works and how you put it onto the chart. Making progress, making progress, making progress. We already talked about what are the proper time frames. Okay, I'm just looking here through my notes. Did my fucking we're having technical difficulties. Give me 1 second, guys. Are you guys still here with me? Did at any point, like, what happened? Did it turn off at any point or not? Yes? No? Nothing happened? You guys heard the beeping noise, I'd imagine. No beep. Yeah, this mic is really good, dude. Because yeah, there's a loud ass beep. Okay, cool. Here we go with the sus guys. All right, let me share my screen again. Why did you not consider in the point of the chart that would have made it bullish because it did not have 2 more points? Oof, dude, don't understand your English. Okay, perfect. Sick. So now that we understand that, let's talk about one other thing, right? We have like one or two other things that we can talk about, which are very simple things, just like the round psychological level, which is how my EMA works, or how, no, better is how the EMA works, which I think we already spoke about this a little bit, and it's gonna be a little useful because I like the EMA a lot better than the round psychological level by far. Why, and I know someone's gonna probably in their mind is saying why, or they're ready to type it but they can't, is simply because it acts like a dynamic level of support and resistance. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, it's something that follows price and uses it as support as it goes up, and it uses it as resistance as it goes down. So support as it goes up, resistance as it goes down, support as it goes up, resistance as it goes down. I like it a lot for entries, but there's never a reasoning. And again, write this down. There's never a trade that I won't take because of it hitting or not hitting the EMA. The EMA is a very small percentage added into the trade. It's like right now, if we were to have a trend line following price, all this is just a dynamic level of supports that is technically holding price up. Once we break out of that trend line is once we're interested in entering a trade. It's the same thing here. The EMA acts as a trend line, and whenever it breaks out of it, that's when we're supposed to be interested in entering a trade. That's basically really all it is. I use it on more of the entry points. And once we get to the entry points, I'm going to explain it in a lot further detail there. But that's really all it is to it. I don't really look at it. It's like as soon as I'm about to enter the trade, like literally like about to click the button, I'm like, wait, let me go look at the EMA real quick. Just to go look at it. If I'm hitting it or not hitting it, I'm not gonna decide if I'm gonna take the trade or not. It's not gonna affect my trade. It's more of another confirmation I can add, which obviously I'm gonna add before I take the trade or not. But I just want to give you guys an example. I want to put it into you guys' head. How important is it? And it's not that important. It's like the raw psychological level. You can forget about it and it won't matter. Now, why do you want to have it if it won't matter? Because once you put it all together, it just looks so much nicer and it just makes more sense at the end of the day. Very simple example is when you go talk to, let's say, an investor that you're going to enter a trade and you want them to invest into this one specific trade. You want to give them as many different reasons on why this trade is going to go in one direction versus the other. Because you have the trend, because you have the area of interest, you have the psychological level, you have the EMA, you have the shift to structure, you have the entry signal. The investors are going to be like, okay. Just take my fucking money here. Makes sense. Done. That's why you have it there. There's no real other particular reason on why you have it there. So I don't really have anything to break down on it or any examples because the only examples are really when we go enter a trade and that it acts as resistance and support. That's really it. If this all makes sense, type 1. Not type 1. Say yes or no. Great. 20% left. Okay. These are the results. 98%. Can it make sense? What questions do you guys have on this right now? Any quick questions? How do you combine the areas of interest together? Once we get to that, we'll do that. Don't you worry about it. What if the monthly and the weekly is bullish and the 4 hours bearish? Would we have 20 versus 20? Armin, you're a bit ahead of yourself. Eddie, gotta stop being sus. So what areas of interest do we base our entry on once we get there? Don't you worry about it. Harmet, can I see your messages? Yes. Bigger the time frame, the stronger the EMA. Supposedly, yes. Can we get more examples on how to use the EMA? Yeah, when we get to the point that we're going to use it. Do you only use the 50 EMA? Yes, I use the 50 EMA on all time frames. It's already preset. You guys should already have it set. Follow on my last question on why bother of around psychological level, as if you said it won't make a trade break out. But would you use it as a reason to take a specific trade over another? I think I already said that. And the answer is no. You haven't talked about taxes because I'm not an attorney and I'm not a tax attorney or an accountant. How do we know if the EMA is good for our trade? I'll explain it. But again, it's going to be once we get to the entry point. Would you prefer a 15 pip? See, like these are the questions that are like, thank you, Harmon. Would you prefer a 15 pip area of interest with 3 touches or a 25 pip area of interest with 6 touches. It would be a case by case thing. Like if they're far from each other, I would just have both. If they're very close to each other, I would probably have to go with the one with the 6 touches because obviously it has more respect. But if they're far, so if let's say the one with 3 touches is here and the one with 6 touches is whatever here, you keep them both. But if they're like right next to each other, I'm gonna pick the one with more touches because it's just respected more. All right, cool. Glad this all makes sense. Great question. Those are the questions that I love. Challenge me. Don't make me repeat myself. Challenge me to something, you know? Okay, so how the EMA works. Hold on, guys. I'm just cleaning up my notes here. Okay. So we have this left, right? So we can kind of get into the point of like actually like building it all together. And it's going to be um so these are like the main ones that we have right now. And I'm trying to think how to do this effectively. So this definitely won't be talked about right now because this has to go with the entry point. So I'll probably leave this last. Take this out of here. How to do a proper top-down analysis. Should we do that today or should we not? Fuck it. I think I could get this done in 30 minutes. Okay. So how to do a proper, should I do this today? I'm thinking, guys, because it's obviously people can say yes, let's do it today. But I'm gonna give a very brief entry on how to do a top-down analysis. If you guys agree with that, say yes. If not, say no. Just want to make sure we're on the same page. Kind of interested by this poll, honestly. It's been intriguing. Okay, so this is the poll. I don't know why it's like this, right? 84% say yes, 16% say no. And again, it's probably because those 16 to 25% haven't watched the recording and they want to go watch it to catch up. I'm thinking. Because we're done for today, right? Which is what we were supposed to talk about today. But I don't want to start Monday with this because then we're just like cutting it a little tight. Let me see something. Give me a second. Hmm. Hmm. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, yeah. Came to a conclusion. Don't want to talk about it today. Won't make any sense. Yeah, I have to dedicate one whole call to that because then that'll lead me to the next thing. And I will be on here for 2 more hours, and I don't want to do that. And we're all tired Saturday. We'll save this for Monday. Sorry, guys. It took me 4 minutes to come to that conclusion, but it's going to be the best thing for all of us because I want you guys to watch this recording and rewatch yesterday's recording. Not for me, for you. You're only going to make this easier on yourself. And for you to understand properly this next topic, it's simply going to be if you watch the recording and it is very clear what everything is up to this point. Where you're like, fuck, dude, I'm tired of doing this already. Which, if you are, it's quite impossible unless you've been trading for over a year because you haven't really been even seeing things for one full week the correct way. Like you just learned how to do market structure. You just learned how to put an area of interest. It hasn't even been a week that you've learned it or even put it to test. So I need you to kind of I can't do it today. I need you to just make sure that you grasp that with time, and then I'll add something else. I don't want to just inject everything because it could potentially implode. So hope you guys understand. Sunday swings tomorrow at 7 a.m. EST. Make sure you guys are there. And on Monday, we are going to do the full top-down analysis and everything else that we have to talk about. For now, what we are going to do is end the call here, and I want you guys to go watch the recording. That is going to be your homework, ladies and gentlemen. And quote of the day is going to be quote of the day is going to be area of interest. You want to have the most amount of confirmations at your area of interest. Remember that. Cool. So tomorrow, Sunday swings, I'm gonna send the link to you guys now through the email as well. And yeah, watch this recording, watch yesterday's recording. We'll save the heat for Monday. So appreciate you guys being for today's class. Hope this was obviously helpful like every other class. And we're literally heating up. We're about to officially start the trading plan and everything else that we aspire to use from the 7-figure strategy. It's all going to finally come together. And there's going to be one call alone where I'm just going to do it all together where you guys are going to literally be like, what the fuck? So tomorrow's Sunday swings, 7 a.m. EST. And then we have Monday, 7 a.m. EST. Put a fucking W in the chat if you guys are ready for tomorrow and keep kicking it. Thank you guys for being here on a Saturday. You guys can be out there partying or out there doing something and you guys are here. So appreciate it. It means a lot. And doing this for you guys, showing up every single day, trying to give my 100% and stay organized to the calendar. So appreciate you guys. Make sure to watch the recording and I'll see you guys tomorrow.